Hi everyone, I am Sansa Stark, and I'm here to talk about my new upcoming film, Dark Phoenix.
Unfortunately, I really didn't care for this film too much overall. I think this might be the first time anyone's made a second adaptation of any specific comic book storyline that isn't an origin story. Correct me if I'm wrong. From what I remember of the Dark Phoenix arc in the animated series, though admittedly it's been a few years, this new film is slightly closer to the original story than X-Men 3: The Last Stand, and I will say that there are some things Dark Phoenix does better.
Doing space missions now. Cool.
I liked this more vulnerable version of Jean as the Phoenix more than I liked Famke Janssen's stoic killer robot version from X-Men The Last Stand. She's a more compelling character here than she was there, pretty much by default, even though I'd still definitely say Janssen's Jean Grey was more interesting overall in the original trilogy than Sophie Turner's Jean from these last two films. Watching this movie, it felt to me like there were supposed to be another 2 or 3 films worth of development that just kinda got skipped over.
It's too late.
About half of Dark Phoenix's X-Men team, including the main character, were only introduced in the previous film, Apocalypse, a movie that's still mostly focused on continuing the stories of Xavier, Magneto, and Mystique from First Class and Days of Future Past. The younger team members really only served as secondary characters in that movie. So to me, skipping ahead to this particular story just felt really rushed, like we only just started to get to know most of these people, even though that's clearly not supposed to be the case in context. The Last Stand, despite its many faults, absolutely makes you feel the weight of the X-Men team falling apart more effectively than Dark Phoenix. Even the characters who have been here since First Class just kind of feel off. The moral center of the cast is Mystique, of all people.
Focus on my voice. I'm not giving up on you, Jean. You put us in danger, Charles. You put those kids in danger. You're my family, Jean. Stop, no matter what.
And the other returning major players similarly feel wrong. Again though, it's sort of hard to argue against the fact that within context, everyone here is technically supposed to have gone through about a decade's worth of off-screen character development since the last time we saw them. Of course, that also serves to remind me that these older characters are meant to be in their 60s by this point. First Class takes place 30 years ago. Additionally, this time around, the movie doesn't even seem to know at times what it should be doing with some of the mutants' powers either. Apart from the opening action scene where you get to see them all working together, combining their specific strengths to deal with the situation, as well as a couple of fun moments during the finale, I found the rest of the movie's action to be kind of a letdown.
Stop.
Evan Peters' Quicksilver, who was a highlight in the last couple of films, barely gets any screen time here, and Mystique doesn't shapeshift into a single person, though Jennifer Lawrence's performance is just subtle and nuanced enough that at times you can almost see the lines in her contract, specifying exactly how many minutes she's willing to spend in the makeup chair. Not very many. Magneto's powers especially seem like they've been severely nerfed compared to the previous films, and they basically sidestep Xavier's entirely by saying, I don't know, his powers just don't work on the bad guys, whatever. Speaking of villains, Jessica Chastain is in the film. She's the villain. In the movie's defense, there was a dude whose mutant power is super dreadlocks that he can swing around like whips. They even make a whoosh sound a couple times, which was pretty tubular. I actually think he might have gotten more action screen time than either Quicksilver or Storm, both of whom spend pretty much the entire film hovering in the periphery.
I basically did everything. I mean, Jean did a little, like, towards the end, but it was mostly all me.
As a footnote, this is also, I believe, the only X-Men movie ever not to feature Hugh Jackman as Wolverine in any capacity, not that I doubt they'd have found some way to shove him in if Jackman had been willing. I do respect that he's not in the movie though. This would have been a terrible final performance as the character to go out on following 27's Logan.
Look who's talking.
Dark Phoenix is definitely not the worst X-Men movie that's ever been made. James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender are both good in pretty much everything, and like I said, there were some fun moments of action here and there. But I will say that even X-Men Origins Wolverine, which is probably the worst film in the series, had plenty of cant value to hold your attention throughout, while I was mostly just bored with this one. Ordinarily, I would say just to wait and stream it, but since Disney owns 20th Century Fox now, I doubt you'll ever see any of these X-Men films available to stream on Disney+, besides maybe the sort of unconnected ones like Logan or Deadpool. That'll especially be true once they reboot this franchise within the MCU in a few years, so I guess check out Dark Phoenix while you can? This will probably also be the last one of these things that we're getting. I seriously doubt at this point that New Mutants will ever see the light of day. But if you like this video, you'd be helping me out a lot if you could hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and ring the bell to stay up to date on my latest videos. Let me know down in the comments any of your thoughts on Dark Phoenix, and check out some of this other great stuff up here on my channel. Until next time, thanks as always to all of you guys for watching, and take care.